Hello guys, how are we doing? Welcome back to another episode of Help with Harrz. Today we are reviewing a Gold Gamers gameplay and we're going to be just looking at general tips on how you can improve, and there's certain things that you could be doing to implement into your gameplay which will help you gain more SR, get to Platinum, get to Diamond hopefully. So yeah, before we get into it, I just want to say the format of the video we're going to be looking at today. We're going to be looking through the form that they've submitted themselves. We're then going to be looking at the gameplay in its entirety. I believe it's a Hardpoint Embassy. We're then going to be looking at a little bit of a conclusion. So we're going to be going into what's the players doing really well, so what they need to keep doing to maintain their level of game, and then what they could slightly improve upon to enhance that level of gameplay to get more SR and then to get higher rank. After that, I'm going to give a potential SR rate and what I think you could be achieving. But yeah, there isn't any gameplay sound to the gameplay we're going to be watching. So I've put in a little bit of a throwback COD music. If bonus point for anyone who could tell me what Call of Duty game this music is from in the background. I know I'm talking over it, but yeah, if you can tell me what it is, bonus points to you. So let's get into the form. So we're reviewing Pray and Spray's Activision ID. He's a fairly familiar face of the channel. Kathleen, I think, is the name in Welsh. Sorry if I'm butchering the username. They're playing on a PC and their settings are 6.6 and custom on 1. Left stick on is a Mark II from the left and 17 from smooth. So this is from an Elite Series 2 controller. This is an Xbox Elite Series 2. These settings seem very similar to what I had them on, so settings seem absolutely fine. I do wonder if you've got any buttons, paddles at all. That intrigues me. But yeah, what would you like me to focus on in your gameplay? Everything, just all-round critique, positioning, timings, movement, map reading. Plus my inability to not hit scoreboard. Everyone else hits YY, I hit view button. So I'm assuming you mean instead of like people spamming YY, you spam scoreboard. So we'll have a look and see if that impacts your game. In your opinion, what do you struggle when playing Modern Warfare 2 rank plays? Concentration and all-round gameplay when it comes against better teams. Fine, that seems general. As I say, it's a very general gameplay today. So let's get into it. So you can see it's a full gold lobby here. It's a Hardpoint Embassy. We're using the TAC 56. The TAC 56 looks like a little bit of a slow class, but that's fine. If you're not keen on, controlling recoil, or you just prefer this class up, if it works for you, fine. So this position here, I don't mind it because, yeah, you got an unfortunate time in there, but I think you probably would have died in any case. What I'd have liked to have seen is you go behind the wall itself, next to the Xbox, instead of just chilling where you were. From this wall, just this wall just here, you can see, well, exactly here. This is much more better. You've got a little bit of a head glitch, both left and right. So I know you're probably standing on Xbox to cover your right-hand side. However, you can sort of do that on a head glitch from where you were just then anyway. So that's what I prefer to see you do off your opening run if you were to do that. This is a little bit of a weird push here, I'm not going to lie. There's 15 seconds left. You were at P2, so if it were me, I'd have just stayed around P2, got the trophy down, and just been ready for gunfights to come my way. But this is fine. I mean, realistically, you've bought them minus 5 seconds of the hill time, so you've cleared it. It's fine. But what you haven't done, so essentially, in essence, what you've done there, instead of holding your ground at the new hard point, you decided to clear them off 5 seconds of old hill time, and then you've almost given them 10 seconds here, so it wasn't actually beneficial to you to do so. But yeah, you're beaming fools here, 3 headshots as well. You're beaming. I'd like to see a trophy at your feet by now. You've got one in your back pocket. You're sat next to a car which is going to explode imminently, I imagine. So yeah, I'd like to see the trophy thrown out ages ago, but that's fine. You got it down anyway. It is next to you rather than in front of you, which means if a grenade comes to the van, it will probably kill you. Yeah. So if your trophy was thrown out in front of the car, it would have got to the nade before the nade even got to the car. The thing is, the trophy, as soon as the nade got in the range of the trophy, it was too late. But yeah, good little streak there. I like that. Good positioning. You sort of know what you're doing. You're holding the cut. That's perfect. Unfortunate team kill. Moving on to P3, but that's not a problem. So nice, you're using your AR ability. You've got a good head on you by the looks of it. You got a couple of shots off onto the person crossing. Your movement sliding's not the best way. I mean, if you're a Cold War gamer, I know you've been around the channel for a while, so you may be that. But if you're a Cold War gamer, sliding isn't as efficient on this game as it is. I know I do it sometimes, but just be careful that you're not overutilizing it. So right there, I'm not sure I like the play of pushing down back alley. You'd have probably been a little bit more effective jumping on up the ladder and then chilling around the hard point somewhere, or just staying plant pots watching them push out a tree door. But this is fine. I don't mind this. You're holding the cuts, you're blocking the gas spawns, which mean they're forcing them to spawn tree door, and you're rotating early. So I like this. You've sort of learned from your mistake from P1 to P2, and you're implementing that into your gameplay, going from P3 to P4. So I like that. The only thing I would say is that you haven't cleared the hill itself. you needed that kill. You needed that kill. Okay, so you missed the shots there. You knew he was in there. You put a couple of shots in, and then you decided to. I like the nade. You got info, but when you're reloading, I want to see you take cover. You are so out in the open here when you reload that you're just going to get beamed. I mean, if you're not beamed from the back on your left, you're going to get beamed from that guy. So I'd have liked to have seen you either lay down or crouch, or I don't know if snaking's a bit too advanced to implement into the gameplay at this point, but any sort of you're really open reloading, you can't shoot back. So I'd much rather see you lay down there or at least take some sort of cover before trying to reload. So like this, you're trying to use your tactical and lethals to open up the doors rather than have to go up there and do it yourself. That's fine. And then you're pushing out the back. So what you're doing here is you're blocking the back spawn to their hardpoint, which means they're going to be spawning either tennis courts or gas. But because your teammates just spawned gas, it tells me that they're flooding through the tennis courts. You get your teammates trade there. I see you're a bit nervous to go in first, but I sort of get that. You're using quite a slow AR class setup there. And again, you were breaking. When you did break it, you eventually got beamed because again, you haven't got the most versatile gun in your hands. And yeah, I would have maybe a shoulder, or maybe a dive to cover. You'd have baited them out with a couple of shots. Either play it even slower than what you did, or even faster. You did sort of an in-betweeny there where you were a bit too slow and a bit too fast as well. So you spawn tennis, no one on their team has died. I imagine they're all sort of around the hill. They have just team killed, thankfully. Yeah, like this, you're checking the corners. Great kill. Somehow managed to get that. Yeah, this is fine. So you're pushing out a gas spawn here. There's 30 seconds left here, so what I always say on this hill, you might as well fight to the very last minute because it's P1 next, and you know it's pretty much next to the hill. You don't really need to guarantee any position, so you might as well fight for what you can here, especially at this level. You are reloading an awful lot, so just take note when you're watching this back with me, how many bullets you've got left in your magazine when you do reload, because it's fine reloading, making sure you've got more ammo in your gun than you need, but at the end of the day, reloading means you're not using your gun, you can't use your gun, and it can get you killed. Excuse me. So this is good. You position yourself top PD, and what this will do for you is, yeah, you're not getting time, but hopefully as soon as the hill goes red, which means there's an enemy team on it, you can then just beam them off like so. So you try and play your life a little bit, wait till it gets onto the red, and then, you know, beam, which is good. This is perfect gameplay. This is what I'd like to see as an AR. Okay, one thing when out here, yeah, your centering isn't the best. So you're looking at the floor. When you're running here, I would like to see the center of your screen be further towards this area of the hill, this area, because this is where they're going to be coming from. They're not going to be coming from the chairs, I mean, unless they're in this corner, which I doubt. But your centering is very, very low. I'd like to see you pick your centering up a little bit to where they could be, because this guy pops around the corner, and you've got to go from this side of the doorway all the way to the other side before you can even start to shoot. Whereas if you were centered to where you think they could be, perhaps this doorway, it's only a smaller adjustment, whereas you've got to go from all the way over here. So yeah, it's just unprepared, really. That's all that is. He does an eye for you, which is unfortunate. But yeah, so far you're gaming. Your shots are good. You're playing really smart. You're using the cuts. And as an AR, that's really what you need to be doing. Great. That was perfect. So you established where two of them were on your first chow. You managed to get one on the first chow. And then as you strafe back out, you know exactly where you need to center your aim when challenging. So your trophies are fine. They are selfish, and I don't mind that because you're in a god spot right here. This is so vital to hold. But I'd like to see your trophy thrown a little bit further. There is a position where you are, where you can, if you throw a trophy at the bottom of these steps just here, it will protect you and the people on the hill. So that's a little bit of way you can just, help the team out whilst being selfish in yourself. So you've just spawned in like sort of kitchen area. You're pushing out gas, so it tells me that the enemy team are probably spawning tree door, like tennis sort of side. They're either going to be pushing around the backside of PD, which is where you just got that kill, or they're going to be coming through mid. The only danger, I like this. You're holding the cuts perfectly. This is something I'm going to summarize at the end. Obviously, this is going to be one of the things you're very good at. But my only concern here is you haven't got anyone blocking these gas spawns. Now, it's so easy for one of them to spawn sort of mid-map and then run around and flank you here. They're not doing it, so you're getting off quite luckily. Yeah, you're just tearing these guys up. You're on yet another streak. So your teammates are there to pick up scraps. So that's very good. You're using your head there. So instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to go to, we'll get that 20-second scrap time. You're going, you know what, teammates are there. They're already going to it. I may as well just go new. And this is what you're doing. You're applying the pressure. You haven't got a kill yet, but you've done enough to deter the enemy from jumping on the hill straight away. You've made it an easier job for your teammates to help back you up. So this is fine. A ladder push. No one's there. He's at the AC. That's rough. That's just good positioning from them. The only thing I'd like to have maybe seen out there is a little bit of a stun or a nade, but you did have a teammate up there, so it maybe wasn't the best idea. Okay. You spawn back here. There is such a nice spot you can stand top PD here out of these double windows. You can see half the hill and then anyone on this head glitch. You've got decent shots. If you ever spawn here and you haven't got teammates around the hill, go up to the top PD, look over the tennis court, and you should be able to get a kill or two. And then it'll allow your team to open up. You know, if you just win your gunfights against their ARs from top PD, you can just run at the hill. But you know what? It doesn't matter. You climb the ladder, you have the pistol out, and you beamed them anyway, so it doesn't make too much difference. So there's 15 seconds left to this hill. Your pre-aiming is really good. You seem to be pre-aiming all the right spots. You sort of get... I think you've got a gist of where they're spawning 99% of the time. So yeah, you've just had 3 teammates go down. Your teammates just want to gunfight at new. So it suggests to me that the enemy team are probably pushing from where you just pushed from, to be fair. And you read that. That's perfect. That's exactly what I like to see. So you're holding your cuts very well. Pre-aims are decent. Yeah, I don't mind this. You've got 3 people in the hill. So let's break this down. If they pushed into this hill and took a gunfight on, if they win the gunfight, they're in the hill. I mean, you probably will get traded out by another teammate, but there's only so many corners that you can sit in. They're going to check. They're going to kill one of you on the entry, perhaps. You could have been a little bit more... I don't know. You could have been a little bit more aggressive towards the outside of the hill here, but you are picking up kills, so it's really hard to say. Perhaps you've adapted to the way the enemy plays here, and you from what you've seen so far in this gameplay, you can tell they pretty much just bash the hill out every single time. They're not ones to, you know, chal around the hill and then go into it. They bash the hill out, you know, face first. So I think you've sort of read that. You've adjusted your gameplay to account for that. So that's fine. I don't mind it too much. If you're playing a maybe platinum or even a diamond lobby, you perhaps would have had to pull back towards the firing van or even tree door and then hold them off from there. That's the thing. The danger of taking your first gunfights on the defense in the hill means if you lose those gunfights, you lost the hill instantly. Whereas if you take the gunfights out the hill, you've then got a little bit of recovery time, so to speak. So you've got attack 56. All of this wall here, including the doors, are wall bangable. I want to see a little bit of pray and spraying, as the name goes right there. Good first kill. You get the reload in. Fine. So there's only one more corner you could be. You read that. Perfect. Great stuff. Nice. So far, so good. So there's a little bit of hesitation to picking up the gun there. But that's fine. That's just, if you played more, you'd probably be a little bit more prone to that. So it seems like it's now a 3 versus 3. But it's a very tight game still. Nice bit of util. It would have been easier if it went through the door, but I think they have a trophy anyway, so it's not going to have made much difference there. Good first kill. Unfortunately full, but that's fine because your teammates there. You did enough to buy your teammates time. That's all that matters there. You managed to get enough damage out that your teammate can just get the trade. I don't mind this. This is fine. You're just trying to clear the hill at this point. Managed to get one. And you're sort of trusting your teammates to get the rest. That's fine. I mean, if it were me, I probably would have chowed the second guy, but I probably would have died. You're doing really well at trusting your teammates to pick up the rest of the kills there. And this is good. You're back to the god position here. Realistically, as soon as they get on the hill, you're going to be able to kill them. You get the easiest 2-piece of your life. Yeah, and you're just there ready for that third player. So you're a bit aware of your surroundings here because I think you've noticed your teammates spawned out. So that's good. That's perfect game. That's what I like to see when I watch these videos. Right, let's do a little bit of maths. Your teammates have just got 2 people down, which means there's 1 lingering, because again, it's a 3 versus 3 at this point. So whatever gunfight you have is going to just be a 1v1. You've got 10 seconds left. You can win on this 10 seconds. They can't. If it were me, I'd dedicate all of my attention to the new hill, because at the end of the day, if they break this hill, which they have done, they don't win, but neither do we at that point. So you might as well have played for the new hill here and guaranteed the win at the second hill. I say that to so many people. Oh, bit of a team kill, nearly a second team kill. Good shots. Okay. Good gameplay. You absolutely smashed it. Actually, you went 37 kills. Hang on, how many deaths did you get? 37 and 12, ladies and gentlemen. What a gamer from Prey and Stray right there. So let's look back and see what I thought were the good, not so great, and then what I see as your potential. So first things first, you pray him an awful lot. That's brilliant. That's good. It means that when you take gunfights on, you're already 90% of the way there. All you need to do is pull your right trigger and you're gravy, you know? So I like that. Pre-aiming's good. You're also willing to play entry. I mean, there's times you were a little bit reserved in pushing a hill, but I feel like an AR player who's willing to just get involved, get dirty, and trust their teammates to pick up the trades, that's always a bonus. And you played that role really well in this game. You're also decent at rotating. There are certain situations like this one. This was probably the only bad decision I saw you make with regards to rotating. If you rotated here, you probably would have had more time than you killed them off the time for, if that makes sense. So yeah, rotating most of the time, really good. You got there early, and you won most of your rows. If you didn't win the rotation, you put a lot of pressure on the rotation. So rotations, tick that off. You've almost mastered that. That's fine. As an AR player, it's important to hold cuts, and you did that an awful lot. That's also a plus in my books. Your spawn knowledge was there. You sort of knew where they were coming from. Your awareness seemed to be there. Obviously, you're not talking through this. I unfortunately don't have the audio, but I can see that you sense where they're going to be spawning, and you play accordingly. You try and hold the cut, and that's important to have. Again, if you're taking the gunfights before they even get anywhere near the hill, your team's going to be laughing. So that's what I liked. However, there were certain situations, like the very first point in the gameplay where you sat at the Xbox. You weren't giving yourself the best advantage when you took any gunfight on. You were stood out of a head glitch, very much in the open. So in the overall positioning, fine, but when it gets to the very nitty-gritty positions where it's, you know, gunfight orientated, you could do a little bit better. Similarly, when you're challenging this hill, top PD would have been a better position to do. Rather than running around here and challenge, but you know, it worked in your favor when you did it towards the end of the gameplay. Fine. The other thing I want to say you could improve on perhaps is movement. You do a little bit of jump shotting, which we just saw in the little recap here. If you drop shotted that, you'd have probably got the kill much more efficiently. But again, I don't know what paddles you've got on your controller or anything like that. So your movement could be a little bit more fluid. But you know what? You're an AR player, you're holding cuts, you're getting spawns. It's not the most vital thing you could improve upon. It would just be nice to see a little bit of improvement upon it. But I think movement will just be something that comes when you just play more and more and more. So I don't think that's something you really have to actively work on. Finally, spawn manipulation. It could be better. You are aware of spawns, but I'm not sure you're 100% aware of where you need to be to block spawns. Sometimes you leave alleys open, which enables some spawn in certain situations. But generally speaking, most of the time, your spawn reading, your spawn control was fine, but it could just be fine-tuned a little bit more. Again, there's something I noticed all the way throughout this gameplay is that you reload a lot. So as soon as you get 1 or 2 kills, you've maybe got half the magazine left, you reload. Now, I didn't see it cost you too many deaths in this gameplay, but there are going to be situations out of this gameplay that it does just cost you quite a lot. You can probably get a solid, I know realistically it'd take you 4 bullets to kill someone, but I know no one's really that efficient, but realistically you probably get a decent 4 kills per magazine. So I'd suggest jumping into a private match, getting used to not reloading too much. Yeah, and then that should then become habitual, and it will just be easier when you jump into the game. Obviously, you want to be sensible with it, but I just try and reduce it somewhat. That's all I'm going to say. And then other than that, I just think it was a solid gameplay. The trophies could have been a little bit better, and your centering could have been better. But they're things you probably are already aware of. Yeah, centering, you basically want to have the center dot on your screen where you think they're going to be, wherever you are at that time. So your centering seems to be a little bit behind your movement. It is probably still a thought process rather than automatic. So I think if there's something you can improve on, you know, I'm going to give you 3 things you should try to work on that will give you the best outcome here. First things first, your centering. That if you get that right, you're going to be laughing. Second thing is potentially positioning. You're going to get a lot more free kills if you just position yourself correctly. Have a look at gameplays of people. somewhat better than you, and you'll see where they run, see where they go, and try and, you know, copy what they do. And the third thing I want to say is reloading too frequently. That will hold you back. It maybe doesn't in these lobbies, but if you end up getting better, maybe let's say you improve to a platinum or diamond player, reloading will just get you killed so frequently with the amount you do it. So yeah, 3 things I'd like to see you work on: your accuracy, which is mainly your centering, positioning to give yourself the biggest advantage possible, and then reloading too frequently. But yeah, other than that, smashing gameplay. You fried again. We saw the end scoreboard. Yeah, you clearly shoot straight. So yeah, potential. I can see yourself easily hitting platinum with these implemented. I'm not sure what your highest SR has been, but I wouldn't, especially towards the end of the season, I wouldn't be surprised if you leaked into diamond at all. There's still a lot you need to work on, but yeah, with these tips I've given you, yeah, I can see you high plat, low diamond, easily. So yeah, Kethlin, I think is your name. Sorry if I butchered it again. Or Spray and Spray Up. That's probably just easier for me to say. If you found this useful, or if you have any questions about this, feel free to tweet me. I know you've already tweeted me this gameplay, so feel free to message me on Twitter. Comment down below. And for those of you who this gameplay isn't, I hope this helped anyway. I hope there's some things that you probably do that you notice in here which you need to improve upon. And there's probably things that Pray and Spray does here that you think, oh, you know what? That's actually decent. I'm going to implement that in my gameplay. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and I'll catch you in the next one. Ciao for now.